Firstly, I was never, ever a personal assistant to Mr. Churchill. I mean, he did have a personal assistant, but her name was never Rosalind MEUER. Secondly, I, Rosalind MEUER, have never, ever been friends with any of Mr. Churchill's exes, not to talk of being best friends with any of them. I did say that Mr. Churchill was like a brother to me, but he's not my blood. My mother didn't give birth to him. Mr. Churchill and I, we don't share the same father. That statement, he is like a brother to me, simply meant he is family. Mr. Churchill has always been there for my family and I, and it has always been that way. Mr. Churchill's failed marriage has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. The same way you guys read and heard online that I was the reason for his broken marriage was the same way I read and heard online that I was the reason for his broken marriage. I mean, I knew him. Why would I wait for him to get married and then start playing hide and seek? It doesn't make sense. After his marriage crisis and after he got divorced, I mean, I was still there. I never left. I mean, why would accusations and people talking make me leave? Leave to where? I never left. I never abandoned him. Gradually, days passed, months passed, years passed. Life took its course. Destiny happened. So, what I was accused of became my reality and my fate. I mean, what would be would be. You cannot change it. You cannot force it. I am not God. I mean, it just happened. I let God's will take place in my life. I never forced myself on him. I mean, it just happened that he became more than a brother. He became a lifetime partner. And I just really needed you guys to hear this. Every malam with his kettle. One man's curse is another man's blessing.
Hi, welcome back to Trash It. So on today's episode of Trash It, I'm sure you guys must have seen what's been going on social media regarding Tonto, DIKEH, Rosie, and her ex-husband, Churchill Olakunle. So basically, we all know the story of Tonto a few years ago where her marriage packed up with her husband. Now, Tonto footed the bill of the wedding, right? Her husband made her pay for everything with the promise that he would pay her back, but obviously he didn't pay her back. Now, so fast forward to a few years after the wedding, Tonto suspected that Rosie was sleeping with her husband, and Rosie came out and said, no, Churchill is like a brother to her. But now we've just recently found out that we've recently found out that Rosie and Churchill Olakunle are married. Okay, so now social media is blowing up and everybody's saying, oh, Tonto. You know, they're all feeling sorry for Tonto. So I'm going to come to the two ladies in the house, DIKEH and Yori. What do you think about this? They were best friends before. They were very close friends. Girl code, don't date my ex. Don't, never mind going to marry my ex. So Yori, let me come to you first. What do you think about this? Do you think what Rosie did was okay? Or do you think, she's not to blame in all of this?
You know this saying, while I be like bicycle. It is actually, it is issue. Look, I'm all for moving on. I cling on to whoever is available, but they weren't friends.
What, Tonto and Rosie?
Yeah, allegedly, they weren't friends. Rose said they weren't friends, that she was a lot closer to Churchill. And by virtue of her closeness to Churchill, she knew Tonto. So in her own defense, she felt she didn't owe her any respect. But let's use common sense for 2 seconds. When this whole thing broke out, like a lot of people went for Tonto's neck and they thought, oh, she's just Madam Drama, yada, yada, yada. But Rose came and said, well, Churchill is my brother. Look, I have a lot of brothers. And I can't believe I can introduce someone as my brother. Next minute, I'm striking them. So she came out, and I'm saying that's what it is. She came out and said, well, this person is my brother. Oh, I cannot be dating my brother. Yada, 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 yada. How many minutes down the line, she's dated the guy? So girl code or no girl code, they obviously had something for each other because, look, women's instinct at like FBI, CIA all combined together. Tonto said it right from the onset. This guy is actually, this lady is actually dating my husband. But I'm not even worried about all this. There's a Yoruba adage that says the stick that we've used to beat the wife. Yeah, we use it to beat another wife. So whatever Tonto had experienced in her marriage, Karma will pay it forward to Rosie.
To Rosie. Okay. Ejike, let me come to you. Girl code broken.
For me, the only reason why the whole matter just intrigued me is because of there's this thing that they do to women, and I think the name is gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, when she was complaining and she was lamenting, people were like, it's a lie. You know, the husband made her look like a crazy woman. He made her look like a crazy. I don't have a problem with him marrying Rosie or whatever, but the only issue I have there was, why were you making this girl look like she was mad? She was raving mad. She looked like she was crazy. It made her look like a crazy woman. In fact, I think because of all the madness and everything, I think some celebrities even unfollowed her. I think Genevieve unfollowed her. Some people unfollowed her. She looked like she was mad. But that was not the truth. Now the truth has come to that. Everybody is now owing and eyeing and everything. And many married women go through this. You see a man, he will do something wrong. He will say, maybe they caught him cheating. He will say, oh, why did you look through my phone? You have not addressed the main issue. The issue of they caught you catching is what is the little things will be. And you know, those little things now begin to make you look like you are crazy, like a crazy woman, a mad woman. So for me, the whole matter, I was not interested in it then, but now I'm just on her side that why did this man make her look mad? Why did he make her look crazy? And it's really unfair. A lot of women are going through this and it should not be.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ejike. I'm going to move on swiftly. So we all know the saying, when you call someone a homebreaker, and that's what Rosie has been tagged now on social media. She's a homebreaker. She broke the marriage and she separated. She made Churchill not be in the life of Tonto's, of their son, where he would have been a proper father to her. So I'm going to come to Mr. Jagwajantics and Funshaw. Now, usually people will say, okay, a homebreaker is someone that, you know, you remove the man or the woman from the home. And mainly is the woman, right? Because they would say a woman went into a marriage and broke that marriage. Now, would you regard, I mean, at the end of the day, the men are not children, they are full-grown men. Would you blame the woman in this respect? Would you blame Rosie? Or is Olakunle Churchill also to be blamed? Because he's not a child. He allowed himself to be seduced or removed from his marriage and from his young child by this woman. So I'm going to come to you, Mr. Jagwadansi, let me come to you first. Can a man that does not want to be removed from his marriage, can he be removed from his marriage? Given that you're a man, what's your take on this?
Sorry about that. So, you see, in life, relationship is overrated, marriage is overrated. And when problems like this are happening, we should always remember that there are going to be three sides to a story. None of the internet platforms, bloggers, or everywhere is saying anything from the side of the girl or Mr. Churchill. All we've been hearing, most of the things we've been hearing is from Tonto. But they say there's going to be her side of the story, his side of the story, the girl's side, and the actual truth. So nobody is looking at those things from the side of those other people involved. We don't know their story. We only know about what Tonto is saying. Now, either they've been friends before or after, either through Churchill or through Moshalashi Hill. It doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, dignity, pride, and value. How do I want people to see me? How do people get to see me after this? Am I that lady that everybody has always been respecting? You know, why would I? There are so many fishes in the sea. Why not just take a step and look for somebody else? That's me. But there is this other saying that goes thus: marry your friend, so that when you're together, you never get bored of each other or get tired of each other. Maybe when he was going through those troubles, maybe it was this lady that was there for him. And since they're not related by blood or any other reason, why not, if not? After all, him and Tonto are no longer together. You know, so if they were sleeping with each other before they broke out or before they broke up, it's a different ballgame. And we need to understand if what actually happened was an issue of why would I date my brother? It's impossible for me to date my brother. It is different from Churchill is a brother to me. Is a brother to me is different from is my brother. Why would I date my brother? My friend can be a brother to me. Another lady can be a sister to me. But if I'm saying, why will I date my sister? She's my sister. That means we're either a cousin or we're related from childhood or we've been friends from childhood. It must be stronger than just ordinary friends. Those kind of people don't get married. But if she was saying, he's a brother to me, he's more or less a brother to me, they can still date. You know, so I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge from Tonto DIKEH's angle. I don't want to judge from Churchill's angle, thereby giving him reasons to marry the girl. And the girl too, it's a question of dignity. I don't know whether she threw her own away through the window. I wouldn't date that kind of guy. Not just because there is opportunity to do so, but because of the controversial stories surrounding him. I don't want that drama in my life right now. You know, so I think it was wrong. It was wrong.
All right, Funsho, let me come to you. Can you be removed from your home if you did not want to be removed?
I think I have overemphasized this on this show several times, that a man can only cheat or leave his home if he wants to. If he doesn't want to, nobody, I repeat, nobody can do it. I said something off air before we started this show that a lot of girls have been coming on via Clubhouse because I host shows every night. And so if I want to, then I do it. If I don't want to, I won't do it. You get? So the fact that saying Rosie or something is coming to them, fine. It is hard to resist. I'm telling you from a man's angle, it is very, very, very hard to resist. The lady in question is cute. She's beautiful. So it takes inner strength, it takes grace of God, and it takes peace, underline, peace from your wife to resist that temptation from outside. So to your question, can a man be removed? Yes, if he wants to be removed. No, if he doesn't want to be removed.
Okay. Thank you very much, Funsho. Yuri, I'm going to come back to you very quickly. So in the beginning, when I said they were friends, right? And you guys said they weren't friends. Yourself and Ejike said, no, they weren't really friends. But Rosie was she was a PA for Churchill. And she also worked in his foundation. So now, which meant to me that she knew Tonto and they had some form of relationship, right? They might not be best friends or maybe close, but they were friends.
I don't think they were friends. I personally don't think they were friends. I think they just worked in capacity. You know, there's just some people that you how will I put it? When I met my husband, they had friends and people that they worked together. Now, some of them we grew close, some of them were just hi. If we meet at parties, okay. If we don't meet at parties, I think that was the relationship. It wasn't like maybe she and the girl were chummy, telling each other secrets. No, they knew each other, yes. But personally, I just believe that that's Rosie. I don't know how they pronounce her surname. I've been trying to ask.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
You know, I think she just had a plan. I think she just had a plan because now, according to everything I read online, she was like saying, along the line, things just changed. You were in that space. She didn't leave that space. It wasn't like she had been with this guy over the years. It's just recently that the guy, maybe it's even possible somebody was blackmailing her that if people don't say this thing, we will tell the world for you. But I watched a clip when Tonto was saying something like that. In fact, they are not just sleeping together, they are in love.
Yeah, she said it.
She said they are not just sleeping. So even Tonto knew. So I think that's why the girl just carried her son and said, "Well, I'm alive, I'm well. God has given me this gift. Let me just go." Which has always been what I say on this show. I'm not saying I don't love my husband or whatever, but if the water is getting too much, my child, I want to live long. I want to be alive. So I think she just took that route and then God has blessed me. Let me count my blessings and live. And I think that's what she did.
Irrespective whether they were friends or not, the fact that Rosie knew Tonto was married to the guy, I think I don't know how girls do it on their own side, but I think the girl code thing should come in that, okay, I know your wife, I shouldn't do this. But we know on the guy's level.
Let me come in there. Let me come in there. See, that is if DIKEH and Celia, they're my girl. Rosie never saw Tonto as her girl. So as far as she was concerned, she didn't owe her anything. So, and I think she was, well, I'm not in their relationship. Maybe she felt Tonto was just a placeholder. We don't know what Churchill was telling her on their trips. I said, well, I'm just using her because of her celebrity status. I need people to put money in the foundation. Rightly or wrong, Tonto might not have money, but she had that celebrity street name that could draw in a lot of interest in whatever Churchill Foundation was doing. So he was like, well, don't worry. And this is just me talking like I think the way it is. Don't worry, she's just a placeholder. And women, sometimes we can, and I say sometimes women can be stupid. Because if someone can be telling you, well, let me just hang on to my wife for the time being. We've seen numerous times where girls have been asked, why have you been in a relationship with a married guy for like 10 years? He told me he was going to leave his wife. So it might be that kind of situation. I said, do you know what? I'm going to leave her. And all signs at that point was pointing to the fact that Churchill was going to leave Tonto. He didn't pay for the wedding. He was never around. He was always traveling with Rosie. So as far as she was concerned, if your husband doesn't respect you, who am I to respect you? Also, we ain't friends.
Yes. And it's sounding as though Tonto was in his marriage alone, right? Because they weren't married for long. I think they got married in 2015, divorced 2017. So in that space of, say, let's say maybe 2 years or so, maybe not even up to 2 years, how did Tonto do the wedding by herself? She got married to Churchill, but in all of this, Churchill was always with Rosie, spending more time with Rosie than he was with her. So do you guys think maybe Tonto should have left the marriage earlier than she did, if she noticed all of this, because she knew that Churchill was in love with Rosie and it was not just a relationship that they were in?
I think along the line, definitely she's not stupid. I think she must have been trying her best to probably make it work.
Yeah.
It was around that time too that, is it not Tiwa Savage too, that was crying and she did one funny interview? It was about that time. So, there are just so many short-lived celebrity marriages. And I feel maybe she just wanted to try. She might have been trying her best. Because that time that, she probably gave up. I watched a few interviews. You could see, that I've given my best. I've done my best. People, I have to leave.
Another thing is that the way we are looking at it now, if it's actually something planned, if it is something Churchill actually planned, like we are looking at it right now, then if Tonto wanted to leave early and Churchill had not achieved his goal, there's a way we guys will talk, ladies, and ladies will still continue.
I think
until I'm done with you as a lady, I'll keep still talking you, and and you still think that, okay, there's something that's going to come out of this, and you keep staying in it. So we may not want to blame Tonto for staying that long or even planning the wedding or anything, because she believed that there was going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, that tunnel is pitch dark.
Mr. Jagudantix, let me come to you. You want to say something?
In any relationship, there are always going to be interests. We haven't addressed Tonto's interest in the relationship, Churchill's interest in the relationship, why they both came together, and how the conflict of interest tore them apart. There were informations that Tonto DIKEH was looking at Churchill as Obasanjo's
boy.
Yeah.
So she too wanted
political
that yes, we have power. I'm popular, but I still have power. If anything goes down, yes, Obasanjo is there for us. After all, Churchill is Obasanjo's son. Meanwhile, all na packaging. So that being said, it's like going to night markets. When you go to night market and you put your money on something, and then the following day in the morning, you realize that, Jesus Kinimura, so that's the case. That's the case. Now, Churchill is not as loud and outgoing like Tonto. Tonto is the hyper kind of human being, you know. I don't know whether she was hyperactive when she was young, but when Tonto is here, you will know she's here. You know, I was at a wedding in Lagos when Akala's son was getting married to Okoya's daughter, and she was all over the place, like, you know, and I'm like, oh, that time she was dating this guy that sells diamond watches.
That
Yeah.
this girl's husband.
Oh, Smart Adeyemi, that one that married Smart
Smart
Adeyemi's daughter.
Adeyemi's daughter.
Yeah, the guy
Husband. I
married
can't remember
his
his name.
senator's daughter
Avelia, the
recently.
click of Belly.
Malevin or something like that.
Yeah.
Aveli or something.
Yeah, that guy sells diamond watches. So
Yeah.
they were together, and that guy was acting like, you know, if anybody moved too close to her, he would be like, what? Today, they're no longer together. So all of them, they're always looking for something that will benefit them. The marriage is secondary. That's why it is always easy for them to break out of all these overhyped, overpriced marriages. So if that marriage was giving her what she wanted, she would have still stayed put. Who is the other girl? She would have kicked her out. You know, that business, she will be the one sitting there with Churchill. But I don't want to be a moral judge because we don't know what flags she saw, how she ignored it, or whatever. It is just overrated. It is overrated. And for celebrities, the thing you and I would endure, resolve personally, before you know it, they will bring it to the internet, always seeking validation and judgment from the people that don't know how they had their last dinner. So what kind of advice do you think they're feeding their mind with? Different comments, stupid comments, the ones that make sense, the ones that don't make sense. Everything will be coming, they'll be downloading it like software. And in the end, the result will be catastrophic. So all of us here, we have issues with our partners. We've never been online to say, oh, this happened, that happened. And we're still looking good. We're still doing well, you know. So sometimes we should not look at them like they're bigger than what they are. They're just who they are. And it shouldn't really bother us.
And that brings me nicely to the next point, because obviously we know what happened when Tonto and her ex-husband, when they broke up. So she went and started doing interviews and calling him a 22nd man and talking about how she was that was when we knew that she was the one that actually footed the bill of the, you know, the whole wedding. She sold the clothes. She I think it was her friend that rented them a hotel to stay for the night and all of that. Do we think, I mean, when a couple, as you rightly mentioned, Mr. Jagodantis, when couples are going through a divorce, whether you're a celebrity or not, do you really need to take to social media to start to spill all your dirty linen? Is this a trend that is becoming very rampant? And is this a way, you know?
I think the thing about Tonto, and no excuse here, but see, a very bitter person is an angry person. So at that point, she felt used. And you know what? She's that kind of person that would throw winds to the caution, like, you know what? You've hurt me. Rather me going down, we would all go down so that people will know you for who you are. And that is it. And that's how she's always operated. She's not new to controversy. She's not the kind of person to shy away from controversy. And I hail her for that. If you catch her 9 out of 10, she will still give you the same behavior she will give with husband, friend, chicken, and nanny. Remember when she had a fight with her stylist and that one said she didn't pay? She took all the clothes allegedly that she didn't pay for, paid the guy, and then burnt everything. I ain't going to do that with my hard-earned money. So I give her kudos to that. When she's mad with you, she will give you 110% in her life. So I won't blame her. That's how she thinks. But when it comes to celebrity, they live their life on social media. 9 out of 10 of them, the social media fuels their celebrity status. The more you talk about them, you know, they say there's no bad press for celebrities. The more you talk about them, the more endorsement comes in. That's when someone will now remember that she can help them market cream. That's when someone should know that she can market makeup, because everyone is talking about, she's fueling that trend. So that's what keeps them in business. There's no celebrity that is worth their coins that wants to be off social media. This is where the money is. That's why we're all here.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say, so obviously we've also noticed that since this whole thing came out, a lot of celebrities have been taking a bullet, right? So the likes of Belinda, Effa, Uche Ogbodo, and our very own Real Worry Pikin, right? So people are coming for them. I know people are coming for them and saying that, oh, they're friends with Tonto, but they're also friends with Rosie. They need to be loyal. They need to pick a side. Right, and Real Worry Pikin made a video about this. Now, if my friend is not talking to someone or something like this happens, do I need to jump on the bandwagon and also not be friends with that person? So what do you guys think about that?
Personally, I've been this kind of person that has always said that because I have issues with someone, doesn't mean that people that are associated with me will now join me and fight that person. It doesn't make sense. It's stupidity. So what if I settle with the person? They two will now go and settle, right? It doesn't make sense. So I had this friend that we left Nigeria together, and for like more than a year, we had issues and we were not talking. And okay, my wife joined me along the line, and he knew my wife right from Nigeria, and my wife was like, "How do I?" I said, "No, it doesn't concern you. I have issues with my friend. You don't have issues with him. If you see him, greet. If you guys have to talk, talk. The only thing I frown at is if you hear from me, you go and give it to him. You hear from him, you come and give it to me. I hate that stuff. If you don't like take my business to him and you don't bring his business to me, I'm cool with you. I don't have any problem with you. Because I'm having issues with him doesn't mean that my friends or my acquaintances should also have problems with him."
Okay, Mr. Jagwajantis, let me come to you.
Well, some people say the friend of my enemy is my ally. But to be honest, if
The enemy of my enemy.
If Funshaw and Overseas used to be best of friends and they're fighting, if Funshaw tells me I don't talk to her again, I'll be like, oh, are you bad or not? You know. So,
what does that mean? Are you what?
Are you well?
Are you normal?
Are you normal?
Are you normal?
Are you normal? Are you normal? You know, because your own enemy may be my own breakthrough, may be my blessing. You know, maybe there is this opportunity I've been looking for. Maybe the key is in her hand, and she doesn't even want me to give anything back. All she just wants me to do is, you know what? You're my friend. You were nice to me when I was dating your friend. Nothing, no strings attached. But I know this man is my manager. I will speak to him. Hello, my friend needs a job. Boom, and the job is yours. Now, if I follow his instruction and I turn my back at you, how could I have been able to enjoy that benefit? You know, so somebody may be somebody else's enemy, my dear. If he wants to marry you, go ahead. If you don't have any strings attached to the previous guy, do what you have to do. But it's a question of myself. Do I want to put myself in such entanglements with the kind of drama associated with them before? Everything, all the floodlights and camera lens will now shift on me. Oh, so you are the new girl. They said you've been sleeping with each other before they even broke up. Even though they never touched each other, the story will just skyrocket. So you already know. You already know.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jabez. So I'm going to come to Ajike and Yori. Under the girl code, right?
I was going to say.
Under the girl code, should your friend's enemy also be your enemy? Ajike, let me come to you first.
I don't have those kind of friends. I don't know, so I cannot answer this kind of question. It's true. Maybe when I see people talking all the time, I don't have those kind of friends. We've had our ups and our downs. I've not had that kind of experience. I cannot speak on it. I don't know where people gather those kind of friends from. It's not like maybe, like Mr. Jagwadanti said, there are some friendships that you don't, how would I put it? I can't even imagine that because my friend is quarreling with someone, I'm not quarreling with the person. No, it's not that I'll be friends with the person. I can't even begin to understand. Those kind of things they are foreign to me. Maybe you should answer it because I can't jump myself to that place.
I said it one time where I think we had a conversation about telling your friend something. I don't know friends. Like, I don't have that kind of friends where I would have an issue with you and then you will not have an issue with. I don't understand that. Now, that being said, I don't acquire enemies. So if any of my friends have an issue, it's true, I don't acquire enemies. When you have an issue with someone, the best I will do is advise you on how you and your friends can settle your friend, but I would your issue, but I will not. But now let's go back. There's some people who see their friends as siblings. You understand? They're that close. They've been through situations together. And I imagine Tonto has friends like that who are close to her, who have shared her struggles, especially in this relationship with Churchill. Such people will be upset. Yes. They're invested in that relationship. So they have a reason to hold Rose by her turtleneck and hate her for it. In Worry Pickens' case, she's neither friend to both of them. She said she doesn't have a direct access to their direct life. They're just industry friends.
Yeah.
They're industry friends. So you celebrate me, I celebrate you. But there are people who are Tonto's friends, a la Bobrisky. If Bobrisky can shoot Rosie, he will do it because this is someone who is very close to her. He knows when she's crying, how much it. I think at that point, if there was anything that Tonto apparently wanted to work in her life, was her marriage. She has gotten to that place where she felt, I've played, I've joked, I've walked around. Now I want to calm down and stay in this marriage. And if there was one thing she wanted, was for her child to be in a loving relationship with a father and a mother. And Rosie, no fault of hers, was instrumental to scatter that. So you can imagine the kind of pain all her friends will share with her. So there are friends who feel that way. Personally, I don't. But it's a girl code. We can't say girls don't do it. Girls do it. Like you talk about my friend, I will shoot you and your 4 tires. There are people to do that. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong in it. It's how invested you are in that relationship. Not that I don't like my friends, but I just generally don't. I don't even have the space to acquire that much. I don't have that much friends. Not to be gathering enemy on things I personally don't even have the strength for it. It's not worth my time.
Okay, Ajike, let me just ask you this question. So let's assume you have friends, right? You have a few friends, and one of them decides to sleep with the other one's husband, right? What would you do to the person who did this morally, given the kind of person you are? Would you just carry on and say, you know what, not my business?
No, in that kind of situation, no, because as in the kind of people you are putting in my mind now, obviously, I will still speak to the other person that it happened to, and I will still be her friend. But that friendship will now begin to have a different definition. That friendship, no, it's true that the friendship, because it's possible that she can come and collect my husband too. So let's begin to how we are doing our friendship, how we are going. So obviously, and if you are like like the Taylor Swift kind of groupie kind of friends, that person becomes an outcast. That's just, the person will just become an outcast. There's no story about it. That person will definitely, it's just that maybe 1 or 2 of you who know might still be reaching out to her somehow, but she might not be able to get into the fold again. She might not be able to come into the fold. So that, for me, I think that's what I would do.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the fans here, Tonto's fans, Rosie's fans, most especially
Rosie has fans.
No, she doesn't. Sorry. Most especially, but she has over 800K followers. So they're fans.
I love her, Lori.
I have a question. I want to get this out. I want us to clarify. Was it Rosie that caused their marriage to collapse?
Look,
apparently so.
There's no smoke. No. Let me answer that. There's no smoke without fire. But there's some times when a building is burning and you need to just hold one person by the neck that caused that fire. Rosie is that person.
Rosie is that person.
So we don't know what caused the fire. But the electrician that burnt down that building is Rosie.
But apparently,
but she mentioned this. She said it now that they were in love. As in, for me, that was just a nail to the final lane of the cup, because she was like, see, these people are not just, when she was, and she was not angry when she was saying it. She was like, see, these people, it's not that they're just sleeping with each other. They are in love. She mentioned, said they are in love. So the way, as at that time that she was saying it, this was like many years ago. So now these people have now married. Everything she said has it not come to pass?
And apart from that, look, I will be upset too if I'm telling you that my husband is cheating and everyone is telling me you're a liar, but I am seeing things. You guys are not seeing. So she came across like a mad person.
Like a
Because
mad
But did she have
You know,
receipts then though? Did she have
he
receipts?
had over receipts. He bought her a car.
forget receipts.
Ah.
She doesn't need receipt. The most annoying part is the fact that they made her look like she was the
like
lunatic.
a fool.
Like she was mad, like she didn't know what she was saying.
Like
And you
she
know, when
needed to go for
that looked
mental
like an
health check.
angry black woman, and that is what is paining me. You know, because the average black woman, they always say we're always angry.
yeah, we're arrogant,
We're
we're
always angry. So
loud,
they just portrayed her like that. So now, in fact, the reason why I'm just happy is that now I'm sure if I were her, I'll just be somewhere sipping champagne, sipping my champagne, and just be laughing and enjoying
myself.
I'm a man, no, and I don't want to be sounding like a saint. None of us is a saint. That's how I'm going to generalize.
Yeah.
But that point where you lose your sense and then you know you're doing bad and then you're making your woman to look like she's the one that needs mental health check.
Yes.
You know, it's depressing.
That's a narcissistic attitude.
It's unfair.
So the thing about it, you're playing her to who she is. Naturally, we know she's very over the top and da. And you're saying, well, I told you, she's the one with the problem. Whereas you're the one sitting there and just eking her like a gorilla and letting her display.
You know, are like that. Many men in this Nigeria that me I am. I don't know about this America. There people are wherever you are. In Nigeria, most men are like that.
And that's why I said
women. That's how men portray. They portray us as angry, and she does not see. Now she don't want me to go out, so she does not want me to go out. That's what she do. That's what she say. That's what at the end of the day, when if they ever call that woman to talk, when she finish talking by yourself, if you have K, you flog that man. If you have K,
like I said before, everything could have been a plan for Churchill and Rosie, and they just played to the script. And maybe Tonto is just the victim in all this story. We would never know. You get? So it might not be a case of every man, but in this particular case, it might be a plan that had to be acted the way it was.
Yeah, but see, come on.
That's what for me. He wanted to look innocent. He didn't want to take any blame. And
do you know what really pissed me off in all of this? Everyone is now shouting on Rosie. She's a home wrecker. No one has gone to Churchill's page and cuss him out. And I expect men and women to go on his page and just tell him who. That's no wonder Obasanjo didn't claim it. To let him know how bastard of a person he is and how he has behaved like a one. So, like, Ghana, we shouldn't really be egging on what Rose did. Rose is who she is, fair point. But there are three people here, two people actually that have messed up royally. Churchill's behind should be lit. Like, you are just one. I don't even have the right word because I would have said so many things.
The green grass.
The only male celebrity that I know spoke up was it Junior Pope or something like that?
Yes.
And he was also firing at Rosie as well, saying that this is not something that she needs to celebrate.
You should be proud of.
So nobody really spoke to Churchill. Mr. Jagodantic, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so if I have my opportunity, I would really love to sit them down and speak to Churchill and Madame Rosie Loriro, because at what point did they come to realize that, oh, this affection is real? After all, you are no longer together. Let us make it real. At what point, to what extent did they think and realize that, you know what? F it. We don't care what anybody will say. Let's make it real. At what point? To what extent? How did you make that decision? Did you think of your child? Did you think of the story that was already booming around you before, all the stigma, and then you just think we're going to risk it all, and then you just jumped? You know, I don't know. I really want to sit them down and ask them questions.
The thing about this, I can't blame anybody where they find love. But if both of them felt this is what we wanted, the least you could do is apologize to Tonto.
Honestly, the least they could do is apologize to her.
For what you've allowed the society to think of her, for how you've allowed people to view her. She may have lost so many endorsements because of your stupidity.
Of course.
You owe her that apology as the mother of your child. You owe her that. I say, okay, I'm sorry that we did this to you, blah, 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 blah. Because it's a weak situation now. I'm sorry. And the stupidity of Rosie to now be sending Tonto's child, someone you don't even have a relationship, happy birthday. You are not gaslighting her again, asking for a reaction. So if they burn you alive, whose fault is this?
Okay, before we round up, I'm just going to come to Yori and Ajike real quick, and I'm going to ask you, if you were preparing to get married and the guy you were about to get married to is saying, and pay for the hall, I'll pay you back. Pay for my clothes, I'll pay you back. Pay for all the vendors. Don't worry.
Off mic. I'm a Yoruba girl. I'm from our kingdom. We don't do that shit.
Yes.
We don't do that shit. You have to cut me. You have to make me want to marry you. You have to do the needful. I didn't beg to marry. So read my lips. I'm a Yoruba girl from the world. I don't do that shit. Marriage not had me reach that level.
The truth of the matter is that, like now, when I was getting married, me and my husband were young. We didn't have plenty money. We did everything together. He paid for 60%. I paid for, although every other thing, like all the traditional wedding things, he did it. He brought the yam, he bought the clothes, he bought everything. But you see all those although we didn't even use all, we used playground. It's my brother that paid the money, 18,000. So it's not expensive. We have not started using all when I got married.
I just the realest. 18,000.
So I don't know. We didn't do. I know that time. That's when the wedding planner just came out. We were looking for. We brought Chapman. We bought all those kind of things. We brought band. We brought DJ. You know, it was a lot for a young man at that time. We too, and we were working. We're in the same bank. In fact, we met in the same bank. We were working in the same bank, the Continental Bank. So I had to leave for him. So the two of us, we did it. His own was, I think his own was 65%, if I remember. 65%. Mine was 35%.
At least he paid.
Why won't he pay? He paid, and everything I used for my traditional wedding, he bought.
Good.
At least the white weddings, all these things I'm talking about is all white wedding, reception, and my parents did the food, all the food my parents did. When I see all those, a mini Chapman, a mini clinical, a mini photographer, all those kind of things, we shared it.
Okay, I'm going to come to Funsho real quick before we round up. Funsho and Mr. Jagajantex, if you really love the girl and you were about to marry her, would you be telling her to pay for these things and you will pay her back? Or would you find the money?
So I tell my friends that I stayed very long to get married. I was way above the time. All my friends are actually getting married before me. And I kept telling them that I can't do this if I'm not ready. It's not just about the wedding itself. How do I take another man's child, put her under my roof, and I cannot take care of her? Yeah. So I waited. I waited and waited over 30, over 35 before I eventually got married. You get. So I if I really love the girl, I wouldn't let her do all those. I would, if I'm not capable, then there's no point. I was still telling someone 2 days ago that probably if I'd had a child while I was 20 or 21 or by mid-20s, I probably wouldn't get married again. You understand me? So for me to say I want to actually get married, I have to be ready to put all the bills. If not all the bills, at least I'm bringing something, she's bringing something, we're putting it together. When me and my wife got married, we saved the money for the whole year. From January 1, we said we're getting married December 30th. We picked the date and we started saving. And we saved for the whole year's salary and everything we got, and we used it on the wedding. So I don't see any sense in Tonto should have seen the sign from the beginning. Why would you do that? What kind of scope, what kind of lorry rock did he give you that made you foot the whole bills? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up.
I think that was a clear indication that he wasn't really interested in the
Very
marriage.
clear.
You want to marry me and pay for it now.
It was a sign from God. Now she no agree.
Yeah.
It was a sign from God.
Mr. Jack, let me come to you before we round up.
You see that thing, people do it a lot. People do it a lot. The people that did it around me that I know, the marriage didn't survive. But I've heard people saying the guy was here, but something happened and then it dropped financially. But the girl is from a rich background. The girl dropped all the money and they were out happily ever after. How do they say that thing? Anyway, it worked for some people. Yeah, it worked for some people. They get married, the boy would just out of nowhere get a new job, the next thing, car for my wife, this for my wife. By the time he buys everything, it has outshined all the money they spent on marriage.
Yeah.
But the people that I know, the last wedding I went for in Lagos, 2019, December 220, that marriage didn't last 1 year. The girl from a very big background paid for everything, the man's suit, the man's shoe, everything, the all, over 20 million naira. The marriage did not last. Another one in London, the lady took loan. She took out a loan to get the, all these Victorian castle. They had very nice, the greenery was so beautiful for pictures. In the end, after a son, the marriage don't collapse. So I don't think it's the best way to go. Somebody is milking somebody to survive and to look good to the public. It is really not the way to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Jabujantics. I mean, I think we're going to end it now. At the end of the day, it's a difficult one. And I think there's no party that's not without blame, right? I think Tonto is to blame to an extent. I think Rosie is to blame to an extent. And I also think Churchill, he's really, he's to blame as well to an extent. So I really don't know. But the fans are not having it, right? The fans are not having it. They're going for Rosie and any celebrity who is congratulating Rosie or who is even saying any good thing to Rosie. So I don't know. Is there any such thing as a girl code? Is there any such thing as a guy code to marry or not to marry? Or do you just go with where you find love, regardless of the person was dating before? I don't know about guys. I don't know if you would marry your friend's ex. I don't know. Would guys do that? Would you marry your friend's ex?
Somebody took my girlfriend. Immediately we broke up. Somebody took her.
Girlfriend is different from marriage.
Was the person your friend, Mr. Jack?
Of course.
All right.
Girlfriend is different from marriage. I can want to smash my guy's girlfriend because I can't resist. But marriage is different. I won't marry her. Like.
Right. Okay. Anyway, you guys have all heard it. On that note, we're going to end it here. I don't know. Should we be wishing the newly married couple
off mic? Off mic.
Okay.
I don't want them to come for me. Off your mic.
Okay. According to them, Lori Raw. Okay, well, we'll see you next week. And having this chat. Bye.
Bye.